Welcome you guys to Writer's Lunch this week. Absolutely. Last week we did a little bit of definite playing with your writing, thinking of new ideas, thinking of things in new ways, courtesy of Daphne's poetry workshop. And this week, another way to look at expanding your ideas, growing them, being able to bounce off different things, and that is with AP Hawkins talking about just kind of idea generation. And I love to see, will love to see where this goes to, because I have my own ideas of how I make stories up, and I bet everybody else does too. So I love this idea of expanding the different ways you can bring things into the process. Thank you, Anna.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. I feel like, the beginning of the year is a good time for, coming up with new ideas and just kind of resetting and, kind of letting your brain generate. So I'm glad that we had two programs in January that did this. So as you all know, I'm AP Hawkins or Anna Hawkins, but you can find me on my website. I do have a blog on my website that I don't update very often, but I occasionally get in there and write a little post. You can also find me on social media. Ahawk Writes is my handle on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So you can find me on there if you want to keep up with my writing and stuff like that. And my cat. I post a lot about my cat. All right, so let's just get right into it. So where do your ideas come from? This is a question. I don't know if y'all get this question a lot. I get this question all the freaking time, and it is so annoying because anytime someone asks me this question, it's like, I don't really know. They come from my brain. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. I don't know if anyone else has experienced that, but when I was trying to come up with ideas for this workshop, ironically, I was kind of struggling because I was like, I don't really know, what to do. But I think I've come up with some exercises that I hope you guys will find fun.
Well, Anna, I love that because it was your idea, and yet you were like, I don't know how I come up with ideas. I have kind of the opposite way of looking at things, where if I am trying to think about it as somebody asking, where are you getting your ideas from? I want to sit them down and talk to them for an hour. So yeah, I have like, well, there's all these references out there and historical things.
Yeah. I think mainly, when someone does ask me this question, my initial gut reaction is to be like, I don't freaking know. But then, I kind of think about it a little more, and really a lot of my ideas come from reading, and we're gonna talk a little bit about that. But it's just this is a question that, as authors, I feel like we probably get a lot, and can be kind of hard to answer, actually, because I feel like people expect something like, oh yeah, I get inspired, and this just a light comes down from the heavens and just fills my mind with ideas. But that's not how it works, right? So anyway, so moving on. So you can generate ideas, or at least I generate ideas in a couple of different ways. So I have some like passive generation methods, and this is where like I'm not actively trying to think of an idea for a story. I'm just kind of letting my brain do things in the background, and I'm kind of doing something else. So I'm kind of like putting my like writing ideas on the back burner. So like they're still there, and like my brain is still mulling over them, but it's not in the forefront of my mind. And so one of the top thing that I do is I read a lot. I like to write, science fiction and fantasy, and I read a lot of science fiction and fantasy. So that's kind of like one of my main hobbies is to read books. And I also like to read a lot of like, science articles, archaeology stuff, culture articles. I find those topics very fascinating. And I like to think about how I can incorporate like topics of like archaeology or paleontology or ecology into my writing and into my world building, because those are all things like in the real world that you can incorporate to make your writing feel more real. So definitely reading. And I I highly suggest, reading in your genre. I know in the genre you want to write. Like, I know that sometimes it can be discouraging because it can feel like, oh, this book is almost exactly what I want to write. But I think that it's valuable to see that, okay, there are people out there doing things, writing things that are similar to what I want to write. And so that means that, people out there want to read it. There are people who want to read what I'm writing. And so, I should continue on. I read a book recently that was really similar to the book that I've been working on for a long time. A lot of the world building aspects were similar. The plot is very different, but a lot of the world building was similar. And at first I was discouraged, but I had friends and myself, reminding myself that, like, this doesn't mean your book isn't worth anything. This just means that, this is a kind of thing that other people might want to read. Go for a walk. I find walking to be very therapeutic. And a lot of times when I'm walking, I will think about things that I've read recently or things that I've been writing recently, and kind of try to get some of those creative juices flowing. It really helps because, like, sometimes when you're sitting in your house or like at your office or wherever, you feel kind of stagnant. But then when you go outside and move around a little bit, you can kind of get, your blood flowing and get your oxygen in your brain, and your brain starts doing things, and you can get some really good ideas that way. Jan suggests take a nap. Yeah. Take a nap. If you have a dream during your nap and you wake up, write it down. Write it down. This is write your thoughts. Don't think about what you're writing, just write something. And, stream of consciousness, like whatever you're thinking about, just write it. If you had a dream, write out what your dream was about as much as you can remember. And you can go through that later and, hopefully find some ideas out of it. Keep that notebook around so that anytime you have an idea or you have something that you might want to write down, just write it down. And you can always come back to it later. And if it's not good, you can throw it out. If it seems like it might be good, then you do it that way. Mickey says they use the cut up technique. I've never actually used that, but I've heard that it works really well for people. And that, I think I would consider that a more active generation method. And so these are some active generation is kind of when you're actually trying to come up with an idea for a story. This is when you're thinking about writing on the forefront of your mind and you want an idea and you're trying to kind of generate it. So I find writing prompts to be helpful. There are so many writing prompts online that you can read through just lists and lists and lists of writing prompts. And like sometimes I won't even use a prompt on the list. I'll just be reading the prompts and it will give me an idea for another story. Or you can generate your own prompts. And we are going to do some prompt generating exercises. So I hope that you guys find those interesting. Exercises for helping generate ideas. Do warm-ups. Warm-ups are just like, you have like a very small idea. Maybe you're writing like 3 sentences about, I don't know, a mushroom, or you're writing a few sentences where you're trying to write from the point of view of like a creature or an inanimate object. And those are kind of warm-up exercises that you can do to get your ideas flowing. And again, write every idea down. Don't self-reject an idea, just write it down. Daphne says Pinterest is great for image prompts. That is very true. I've been using Pinterest. Usually I use Pinterest a little bit later in the process, but you could definitely use it, early on when you're trying to think of ideas and prompts. Okay. Does anyone else have any, exercises that they like to use? These are just ones that I use. So, we're going to go through some of the exercises that I use to generate stories, but of course, everyone has their own methods. So I would love to hear. Sean.
Let me throw this out there, which I've been doing this month, and it is called Story Storm. I'm going to put the link into the chat. It's a Twitter hashtag, yada, yada. But it was started by an author who writes picture books. And just like NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writing Month, all the month of November, you're supposed to write a certain number of words. This is generate 30 story ideas in a month. And this has been a very interesting, 26 days so far of just trying to come up with an idea. Some days it's just a sentence or two. And other days I'm writing like a page and a half of what an idea is, but it's non-consecutive, not working on the same project. It's just trying to go from one thing to another. I love your thing on the last one about passive generation. And one thing that I would throw into the mix, let's say between go for a walk and write your thoughts, is kind of this lament that I have for blue collar writers kind of falling off. And there's not that many people who work 9 to 5 jobs, who work physical labor and write as much as there were in decades past. But the whole idea of doing something else and coming up with a creative idea, either based on what you're doing, like I was a butcher before. And so let's say you are, having to chop up chickens all day long. Well, you're doing something that is taking up, 75, 80% of your brain. That 20% starts to wander. You might be thinking about something that is directly in front of you, or you might be thinking of a land far, far away. But this gives your brain a chance to kind of push forward and come up with other ideas that you wouldn't normally if you were trying to be conscious of your story creation.
Along those same lines, I find that like crafting or any sort of handsy occupation, right? So drawing or knitting or crochet, things like that are very good for letting your mind wander.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I think probably the reason why walking works so well for me is because when I was in grad school, I did a lot of field work. And so I'd be out like in the prairie, marching through the tall grass or whatever. And I'd be thinking about bugs or plants or whatever we were trying to collect that day. But then, the other part of my mind was like wandering and coming up with story ideas. And so I would have to stop a lot of times and like write them down, or like when we would come in for breaks, I would just spend like the break time typing out a whole bunch of ideas that I had while we were walking around in the morning. So yeah, so now just like walking around my neighborhood. I don't do field work anymore, but walking around my neighborhood works for me now. So
let me throw this out as well, which is just from the chat, and I think it's Jessica saying this. I just get a ton of ideas, and I can't stop the ideas from coming. And this is, kind of the opposite of not being able to come up with ideas, but always wanting to work on new things. She says, most often ideas fall out uncontrollably. I tend to read a paragraph at a time randomly from different books or being inspired by podcasts. That's another consideration as well.
Yeah. I tend to go through cycles where sometimes I'm getting like a whole bunch of ideas all at once. And like, I'll go a week and I'll come up with like, a dozen ideas and like, oh, this is great, blah, blah, blah. And then I go through some periods where the well feels kind of like it's dry and there's nothing really coming, nothing really happening. And so like, these are some exercises that this is like what I do when I'm having problems. So, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think everyone has those periods where like, sometimes it's like, oh yeah, this is great. I will never run out of ideas. And then like, 3 months later, it's like, oh my God, I'm never going to have another idea again. What am I going to do? So I think that's a very relatable thing. Janera says, even your dreams are ideas. Yes, that's true. I've definitely had stuff that has come from dreams before, or like things that have happened in real life, that I'll take and I'll put a fantasy or sci-fi spin on them. So yeah. Janera, you had a comment.
Yeah, about what you just said about even not like getting ideas. That sometimes comes to me when I'm just so reality based. Okay, like when just life takes over, or for example, yeah, we had too many doctor's appointments. Sorry, it's just that like it's just a lot still going on. Even jobs, work, and then okay, what are you gonna do? I don't get an idea. Then I basically watch an anime, and then okay, the ideas come back.
Yeah.
So I guess you use, like you said, you use different prompts or different things that you like to just get it restarted. I've learned how to refuel those ideas.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, definitely watching, reading, consuming other media works really well for me. I wrote fan fiction for a very long time. I still write fan fiction. And so characters that are created kind of in other people's worlds, or wondering about what would happen with these characters in a different world, those are great idea generations. When you take an idea and mull it around for so long that it becomes like completely unrecognizable from the source material, that's just fiction. That's just your own original fiction at that point. So run with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's essentially what I was going to add, is that, yeah, definitely the consuming other media that you enjoy is one of the biggest, ways to kind of help generate new, because I feel like I think it gets you excited about fiction. And so then you want to write something else. And so then your brain is like, okay, well, here's a bunch of ideas. So I think, because if I read something that I don't really enjoy, I don't feel as inspired as I'm reading it as I do when I'm reading something that I really like. So I think that reading something you like, or watching a show that you like, or playing a video game that you like, those can all get you excited about fiction and wanting to write your own stories more. So, okay, so we're going to hop right into exercises, because I have a lot of exercises today. I think we'll have time for all of them. I certainly hope we do. And I hope that you guys find this fun. Really quick, in the chat, Christopher says reading nonfiction is also a great source of ideas. That's true. Like I was saying before, I read a lot of archaeology or science articles, biology stuff, and geology and things like that. And those kind of things really help me with world building, or putting together cultures, or things like that for my works. So yeah, those are definitely, nonfiction is definitely helpful as well. Okay, so our first exercise. So I was kind of having a hard time coming up with exercises that were different from writing prompts and Mad Libs. So we're going to start with this one. And this is the 5 Whys. I have this book that this came out of, and I don't really use this book a lot because it's mainly geared toward people writing literature. So it's not super geared toward sci-fi and fantasy. But there is a section in here about Stephen King and some of the things that he uses to generate ideas. And this is one of his, and I really liked it because it was kind of unique. So the 5 Whys, and the way this works is you start at the end of a story. So what is the final event of your story? And hold that image in your mind, and then you can ask why, or why does that happen, and provide an answer. And these answers can be as detailed or as not detailed as you like. I think that it would work better if you were very detailed in your whys, because every time you ask why, you're revealing new plot points, new characters, whatever, and new little bits of world building. And so as you ask why more and more times, you're working backwards through the story. And hopefully after you've asked the question why 5 times, you've worked your way back to the beginning. And I think the reason that I liked this exercise is why is my favorite question to ask. I was a very annoying child who always asked why about things, and I still do that as an adult. So I felt really drawn to this exercise. Yes, Janera, you had a hand up.
Sorry, trying to get my computer to work. Miss AP, can you put that in the chat, the creative writing notebook?
Yes.
I didn't get the whole thing down.
Yes.
Can you find it in a Barnes & Noble's bookstore?
Probably. I've had this for several years, so I'm sure you could find it if you looked on their website.
Thanks.
Type it. Yeah, I'm just going to type it in the chat.
Let me say this with Barnes & Noble. Always look in the discount section first. They have a ton of notebooks, and especially themed notebooks. All my there. I have gotten some.
Yeah. And so this book has information about, what is it? 20 different authors. And it has a lot of writing exercises. So it has a lot of blank pages that you can, if you want to fill it in the book, you can fill it in, or you can do it on a sheet of paper. Like I said, though, it is mostly geared toward literature, but the exercises can still be useful for genre fiction. You know, you can kind of go through and you know, it helps. There's some that help with like character creation and some that help with plot. Some that help with structure. So now this particular exercise, we're not actually going to do this one today because this one would take a really long time. You know, you could work on this one for hours, but I wanted to present it as something that, you know, maybe you should try if you're feeling stuck. Think about like if you have a where you want a story to end, but you don't have the beginning. You know, try this exercise and, you know, ask yourself why a bunch of times and use it to reveal the characters and plots and things. So I hope that you can use this in your own writing and it'll be helpful. So now for some exercises we're actually going to take the time to do. Warm-ups. So I'm going to give you guys about 5 to 7 minutes. Write a few sentences about your choice of topic. So either something you did today that you enjoyed, an object to your left, or what's happening outside your window. Don't think about it. The goal isn't for it to be good. Just spend, you know, about 5 minutes writing. So I will keep a timer. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. Would anyone like to share what they wrote? You can share it in the chat, or you can come on the mic and read it to us. Yes, Sean.
I was waiting to see if anybody else would first.
Oh, I saw you unmute, and I was like, oh, Sean's ready.
Jessica, let's say Jessica,
Okay.
but I totally will. If you have time, feel free to call on me again.
Okay.
Jessica, do you want to unmute? Do you want to tell?
Oh, excuse me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, sure. Oh my gosh, my neighbor just came in. Oh, excuse me, just a minute. Oh gosh, forgive me. I'm in a meeting. Hold on. 30 more minutes. Or you can. I'm in a meeting. Go ahead. Whatever you need to do. Sorry, honey. Okay, 5-minute writing. What's outside my window? Outside my window is another window, another brick, another hall. Outside of my window is nothing at all. I keep my plants there for daylight sometimes, and when I get lonely, I'll look to rhyme, so I don't feel stuck inside like lime in a tortilla with grilled chicken. Outside my window is another person's life. She has a kitchen, maybe a wife. Sometimes at night, I'll hear her excited to greet her dog. A shower of singing, a window of fog, some dirt and gravel, and blinds, they're brown. If you looked out my window, you would probably frown. You could try, but it wouldn't help to look down because someone left a mermaid sticker page there. It's not that I don't want it to, but I wouldn't dare. If they were mine, well, so I just stare.
Love that. It's very
There's
nice.
literally like mermaid stickers that have been there since I moved in, and I want to get them for my journal, but I haven't because they don't belong to me.
Yeah.
But it's the no self-censorship, just like go in the moment.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that.
It almost has the cadence of like poetry. I feel like that's really, you know, that's really close to being a poem, or like it could already be a poem. So it already has like some of that cadence, like Daphne talked about last time. So
Thanks.
yeah. Jan asked in the chat, there was another talk on generating ideas. Yeah, Daphne did a poetry talk. Was it 2 weeks ago or was it last week?
That was last week.
Last week.
It was last week. I'm finding the link now.
Okay. So does anyone else want to read what they wrote?
Captain Russell, you unmuted?
Yeah, I'm on mute, right?
Yeah,
Good,
you're
right?
good.
Out my window, my neighbor across the mall has returned from her home out on the Cape. I know this because her black lab, Stormy, has come onto my porch. He stays with me sometimes when my neighbor Laura takes trips for business. I let him in and he does his normal routine of walking through the house, climbing the stairs, then going to the kitchen where his bowl is usually waiting. Then he comes back and jumps onto the couch with me, licking me and talking to me in lab talk. I hear Laura outside calling for him. He hears her but ignores her and lays down beside me. She calls again and looks up at me, sits up, and says, "Goodbye, friend."
I love that. I love it. You know, it starts about, you know, you looking out your window, but then it becomes a little story about a dog. That's very nice. Yeah, that was great.
It's a true story, too, by the way.
Yeah.
You can hear him barking right
Everybody has a dog. This is not fair. Why am I alone?
now. Yeah, two dog stories in a row. Huh?
Sorry, I just want a dog. I messed up. I wrote one too.
You
Man, I
got a
want a
cat?
dog.
You got a cat? Right about that.
Yeah, I can't have a cat either. I'm allergic to both.
Oh,
Sorry, I want both. I have to get probably allergy shots. It's so not fair. The one I wrote is like what I enjoyed today. I watched Bones for the first time, and my former friend was right. I enjoyed it. She said I would enjoy it. The suspense, the chemistry between the characters. It was so hard to put down because I wanted to binge watch the series. But they have 12 seasons, almost 200 episodes. It was a popular show. I really enjoyed it. I got my Mystery Sleuth self back to working again. Sorry, that's all I could come up with.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
no,
good.
that's great. Yeah, that's good because you know, and that feels a little bit like a journal entry, you know, and you can take that and remind yourself of like what you liked about this show that you watched, and then go back and, you know, try to incorporate, you know, some of the things that you liked about it into your own writing as well.
Oh, it was called Bones.
Bones, yeah, yeah. I've never actually watched that show, but I've heard it's good.
It is extremely well plotted. Like if you want to see just like, you know, what is it, like 45 minutes long or something, you know, like when you hit the beats, you know, like it is calibrated to the max.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, I think we're gonna move on because it's like 1:35 and we have some more stuff to do. So we'll move on. But yeah, if you wrote something, if you want to share it in the chat, please go ahead so that everyone can read it. So that was a nice little warm up. Hopefully that gets the creative juices flowing a little bit. So here's another exercise, and this is something that I like to do a lot. It's a POV exercise. So you're trying to get outside of your normal human point of view and think about the world as something else. So we're going to start with an inanimate object. So I want you to try, you know, write just a couple sentences. It doesn't have to be long. Take like 3 minutes. Describe an open field from the point of view of a boulder. Okay, it's been about 3 minutes. Does anyone have a few sentences from the point of view of a boulder that they would like to share?
I do.
Okay, let's start with Cece, because I saw Cece raise her hand and you said at the same time. So let's start with Cece and then we'll go to you.
Okay, the earth movers have arrived today. I am being moved to another home. This is the same field that I have existed in for billions of years. I hear my place will be taken up by asphalt parking lot for grocery shoppers. That's all I have.
Yeah, that's good. That's sad. It's sad, but I do like the you know, you're kind of seeing that like, okay, you know, this rock has been here for eons and now all of a sudden it's going to be moved. I like that. That was good. So Russell, you had one that you wanted to share.
Yeah. It starts off pretty much the same, of course. I've been here since the beginning of time, except for the time when I was on top of that mountain over there. Then I tumbled down and ended up in a creek, then washed into this field. I have seen the evolution of man in this field, from stocky man beasts with sticks trying to kill monsters, until now I am a decoration in a yard with little children playing. I can rest now, no more travels.
Yeah, I like that. It goes through kind of the whole life cycle. Yeah, that was good.
I always like happy endings.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. That one did have a happy ending. It's like, oh, you know, the rock is still there, but you know, everything around it has changed. That's good. Anyone else want to share? I think we have time for one more.
I'll throw it down.
Okay.
Okay. Alas, my brothers have been ground to dust. Was I made of sterner stuff? Their gypsum and dolomite to my igneous chest. Certain I have had my share of weathering, softening around my edges, taking away the sharp points of my youth. But they have been ground to dust. Through wind and rain and flood and freeze, they withered to nothing, and now feed flowers and trees.
Very cool. Yeah, I like that.
That's very...
Yeah, that was good. Good job, guys. Y'all are awesome. Let's do So I have a few more slides with exercises. So there's 2 more ones on this slide. Let's just do one more of them. So describe the same field or even a different field from the point of view of a deer this time. So this time you're an animate object, but you're still not human. You're an animal. So how would a deer describe a field? And just take a few minutes to do that. Okay. It's been a few minutes. Anyone have something they would like to share? I see Daphne put one in the chat. Would you like to read it out loud for us?
Sure. Food. Food as far as the eye can see. I walk on it, through it, under it. I open my mouth and food is inside. I close it and food passes by me. I am surrounded by sustenance, all mine if I take it.
Yeah, I like that. That's definitely what a field is to a deer. All food. All something they can eat. Anyone else want to share?
I'll go.
Okay.
I stand in the trees bordering the field where my tribe usually goes at midday to graze. But today there's a strange smell wafting across the field and irritating my nose. A hunter. I sense danger and I signal the others to wait.
Yeah.
To the opposite side of hers.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I like that. Anyone else? I think Cece, you had your hand up. Would you still like to share?
Mine is sort of sharing, but literally I was going to go down the same road, the deer and the hunter. And I just said, well, maybe I'll just say it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. And that'll be my story.
Yeah, that's funny. I like that. All right. So very good, you guys. This is a fun little exercise, I think, because it kind of gets you out of like the human mindset and kind of helps you think about things from different perspectives. I think, trying to think about the world from perspectives that aren't your own, even like, an inanimate object or an animal is a really good exercise for writing and for like, getting those creative juices going. So I hope that this was fun. So the next one, we're gonna generate some prompts. So I have some Mad Libs and I'm gonna actually edit it on the slide. So we're gonna just generate 3 prompts here. So someone give me a noun for a person.
Witch.
Witch, okay. So a witch, oops, if I can spell, must give me a noun for a place or must save a place. So give me a noun for a place. Oh,
Beach. Oh.
The neighborhood. Sean said the neighborhood in the chat. That's the first one I saw. Okay. From, give me a noun for a thing.
Dragon.
Dragon, okay. By learning how to, verb.
Breakdance.
Breakdance, okay. Okay, so there's a prompt right there. So we just filled in the blanks. So our prompt is a witch must save the neighborhood from a dragon by learning how to breakdance. I like it. So let's try another one. I have two more that we can generate these prompts. So there is a place. So give me a noun for a place.
Small town.
Sorry, what was that, Russell?
I said small town. Play something too.
Okay. There is a small town where all the people are blank. Give me a thing.
Vampires.
Vampires, good.
Vampires.
All right. And
So like everyday vampires, they're all just normal, going about their lives,
small town vampire, yeah.
dropping their kids off at school.
An outsider shows up to open up their first Italian restaurant.
There we go.
No, a blood bank.
Yeah, or a blood bank. There we go. Good. Okay, third one. A person discovers. Give me a noun for a person.
How about a mage?
A mage. Okay.
Yeah, mage.
Mage. Good. Oops. I gotta get it typed. Okay. A mage discovers blank. A thing. Someone give me a thing.
A boat in the chat.
Yeah.
A boat. Good. I'm going to put boat. I see that Nintendo 64 there. A mage discovers a boat while blank. Give me a verb.
Walking on the beach.
Walking on the beach. Okay, good. What do they do? So those are our 3 prompts. So these are fun. So I do these sometimes, with Mad Libs. You just take like a sentence and you blank out, a bunch of nouns or occasionally verbs, and then you fill it back in, and then you have a prompt that might be a kind of fun idea. So now we're going to take these prompts and I want you to choose one. We have about 10 minutes left. So I want you to choose one of the prompts that we generated previously, and I'll put them back up on the thing. And I want you to take 5 minutes and write the beginning of that story. So just choose one, and then we'll take about 5 minutes to write, and then we'll spend the last 5 minutes sharing what we wrote. So I hope that, have some fun. Just write the beginning of whatever story for whatever of these 3 prompts you want to do.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. But I've got to finish this. It's just a few more minutes. Huh? Go get the car if you want.
No, I'm just saying.
Okay. It's been about 5 minutes. So if anyone would like to share, I see Janera, you have your hand raised. So you can share with us.
Sorry about that. I went off. See, I said a maze discovers a boat while walking on the beach.
Okay.
They look around the boat to discover it is a magical galleon of Kingdom Kong. The mage is gleefully glad about his discovery as he looks at the treasure trove he found. He discovers it in a trophy room with a row full of trophies and books. The treasure was enormous.
Ooh, interesting. Very cool. I see Jessica Arias said in the chat that you want to share. So I'll let you go first, and then Jan, you can go after her.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. A witch was walking her laughing hyena pup around the block. She was exhausted from bathing all day. She slid on her house shoes over her long compression socks and welcomed the dog to follow. As soon as they made the third corner, a fiery small dragon came out. Like a holiday candle. A fiery smell came out. Like a holiday candle was just blown out. A dragon began to dance, and the neighbors crowded around. The dragon began a little dance so as to challenge her, and she flushed in the face with embarrassment. He obviously wanted to battle. She knew her socks would become soiled and made eye contact with every stander-by. The call was on her to break out into dance. Luckily, the dog knew those were her favorite socks. The laughing hyena pup looked her in the face and looked at the dragon. She trusted the pup. She let go of the leash and began to beatbox. The dog stole the show. The laughing hyena danced, and the dragon flew off like the wind.
Yeah, very good. I love that. That was cute.
That felt very Mad Libs. Like you were like, let's get this word and this word and this word.
Jan, you wanted to share one?
Yeah, so I wound up changing things a little and combining them all.
Good.
So there is a small town where all the people are dead. An outsider shows up looking for his lost love. When he finds her, he uses magic that he found in a boat while walking on the beach to revive her. They're so happy to see each other that they begin to dance. As they ride off into the sunset on their dragon, they wave goodbye to all the friendly ghosts. Curses, foiled again, says the neighborhood witch.
That's cute.
Totally insane.
I like though that you took all 3 of the prompts and kind of made something new from them. That was very cool.
That's just the way it happened. Yeah, it was fun. You have some excellent exercises here. I'm very excited to try them all.
Good. Good. Daphne, I see you typed one in the chat. Would you like to read it to us?
Yeah. I had never seen a school crossing guard at 2 a.m. before, but here I was, waiting in my 96 Subaru with a horde of children flocked across the street, their little backpacks adorned with skulls and bat wings. One stopped in front of my hood and flashed a smile complete with fangs. I locked my doors.
That's cute. 2 a.m. school crossing.
Because they're vampires. Like the children are going to school in the middle of the night. Yes.
Yeah. Cece.
All right. The 1960 blue Chevrolet Kingwood in mint condition station wagon slowly pulled up in front of my father's hardware store. The driver, who was dressed in a black t-shirt and jeans, rolled down the window, then opened the door and got out. He nodded at me as he walked into the front door. In the back of the car was a long rectangular wooden box that looked like a coffin. I wiped my eyes and refocused. The date today is January 25th, 2023.
Nice.
That's all.
Yeah, you guys have done really awesome things with these. I really like that. I hope that this was fun. We're right at 2:00, but I really thank you everyone who shared your writing with us. You guys are all awesome. Very, very creative group of people we've got here. So yeah, so that was it. That was it from me. I hope that, some of these exercises can help you guys if you ever get to feeling a little bit like you don't have many ideas coming. So hopefully, you can think back at this and help generate some ideas in the future. So thanks for coming, everybody. I don't know what we're doing next week. Does anyone, Sean or Daphne, do either of y'all know?
We have no idea. We're going to make it up on the fly.
Oh. Yeah, I think we got so caught up in January we didn't quite plan what was next. Okay,
No,
yeah, we'll figure it out.
But it's fine. We do have things coming up. And not to say that this is next week, but we are going to put out a call for queries, even if your book isn't finished. If you have an idea, if you're working on something, if you're close to being finished, if you are considering making a query, check the Writer's Lunch page on Facebook. And we will be putting out a call for queries because we have an author and an agent that are going to do query reviews. And we'll do one of those coming up. So, we got a little lead time. So maybe late February on that one. Also, we're going to have one that is social media for creatives. Maybe not next week, but that's going to come up pretty soon as well. And we're going to be doing a Writer's Lunch live at Brazos Bookstore coming up late February as well, and that'll be on a Sunday, February 19th at noon. So yay, that's fun. Like, we've been doing this online for years, and it works online, but also yay, people.
Yeah,
if
we're gonna
have wanted to meet us in person, this is your chance, and we will be talking about so you want to write a book, what it means to write a book and to get yourself through the novel making process.
Yeah. And it'll be a little bit more of a free form discussion. So we'll all be talking, we'll be taking questions, comments from the crowd. So we hope that, if you are in Houston and you can make it to our live event, we hope to see you there.
Jan, are you raising your hand? Maybe that's an old hand.
I think Genera is.
That was my old hand, so it's not me raising my hand. That was my dead lover hand.
Is there a link to the Brazos event?
We have not made it yet, but we will soon. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
There will be.
And I suppose we just get that via email from you all?
Yeah, it'll go up on Eventbrite. So if you have emails from Eventbrite on, you should get it to your email.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Genera.
Sorry, I just had to ask a question, with the agent and stuff. Do you any rules on what they are looking for and stuff like that, or because it's confusing now?
For agents,
queries.
For literary agent, for queries.
We'll do a whole thing
about
that. We'll do a Writer's Lunch about that, and then have the 2 reviews from it.
Yeah.
If you're I'm not close to that, cool. Just look for that coming up in February. As far as how to build one. If anybody, even if you want to look online and just kind of get an idea of it, Query Shark, Query Shark, SHARK, .com, I believe, but you can just Google Query Shark. That is a website of all queries. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, and he gives reviews on good and bad. And firsthand experience is always the best. So try again. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody. We will let you know as soon as we know what we're doing next week for writers, but we will hopefully see you next time.
Thanks so much.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.
Bye.